Frank Bay Boxing, here to talk boxing and tell you what nobody's gonna tell you. Lord Chilaquiles, boxing will never leave you.
Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
Boxing will never leave you, but we need to understand some things about boxing. You understand what I'm saying? You know, boxing is a sport, but really, it's a business, and I'm gonna tell you how. Now, as you've seen, Josh Kelly defeats the boogeyman, Murtazaliev, in an upset in his hometown. And who told you? Frank Bay. That's right. You know, we need to talk about this. You know, in my mind, you know, what I'm saying, what I've been saying, is that we need to watch out for this fight. To me, this was set up all along for a Boots Ennis fight. We know Boots Ennis has been ducking the smoke. He needed 2 tune-ups, turned down fights with Virgil Ortiz 2 times from Turkey Sheik for career high paydays of $6 million. That's right, folks. This guy, Boots Ennis, turned down 6 M's when he could have got it fighting Virgil Ortiz at 154. Now I already know, I hear the narratives. You know, this man, Virgil Ortiz, he ducked. He's ducking. Him and his manager going back and forth with Oscar De La Hoya and the whole 9. And in my opinion, I don't know how you can call Virgil Ortiz a duck. He said yes to the fight 2 times. But that's neither here nor there. You know, in boxing, this is kind of how it works, right? The contender, the young prospect, the guy everybody's hyping, you know, they go after the weak champion. And this is what it looks like to me. This was the plan all along. That's my point. I believe what I think, and knowing boxing and following boxing, that this was the plan all along. Boots Ennis never intended to fight Virgil Ortiz. I'm saying it here, and I'm saying it now. As a boxing fan, you know, this is what you need to be upset about. Oh, they were stalling. They wanted too much money. But if you ask me, Boots Ennis never wanted to fight. He's with Eddie Hearns. Josh Kelly already signed the fight before he fought Murtazaliev. So this, to me, looks like this was always the plan. The plan was never to fight Virgil Ortiz. And for Virgil Ortiz's perspective, Boots Ennis cost him money. Now, I understand that. You know, people are asking Virgil Ortiz to just take the offer and fight Boots Ennis. But the reality is it was never a big fight. It was never a mega fight. It was never going to sell in the range that they want. 600, 1 million pay-per-views. Neither guy is a star. Now you have a easier route to a championship. And that's kind of how boxing has always worked. You know, you've seen it with Xander Zayas, another guy competing at 154. He was able to get belts, now having beat Barasu and the guy he beat for his first title. You know, those guys with losses, you know, weren't names. So they were kind of gimmies, kind of layups. And that's just really how boxing works. You know, they go for the path of least resistance. So it looks like, you know, Josh Kelly's going to get his shot. It remains to be seen where it will be held at. Will Boots Ennis go overseas, or will Kelly have to come and, you know, pretty much give Boots Ennis everything that he wants on a platter? But again, for what I'm saying, you know, Frank Bay's perspective, I believe, knowing how boxing works, that this was always the plan, and that Kelly had a really good shot to beat the boogeyman, you know, in his hometown, getting that shot. And that's the reality of the sport. You won't hear this from many people, but that's kind of how it works. You know, you don't go after a title shot right away, having just reached the division after the toughest guy. But, you know, hopefully we do get this fight that Boots Ennis gets a title against Kelly, which most likely he'll be the favorite. And then Virgil Ortiz, who knows what's going to happen with him. Xander Zayas, he may be moving up. But yeah, that's boxing. And, you know, you're not going to really hear that anywhere else. Frank Bay's going to give it to you raw, rugged, and straight. And the question is Kelly going to be a match? Is it going to be a good fight? Look, it could be interesting for a moment, but Boots Ennis will be pretty much a big favorite, and he'll be expected to win. But looks like Boots Ennis is going to get the leg up on Virgil Ortiz. I know we don't want to say it, no, we don't want to admit it, but that's what's going to happen unless Virgil comes back and does something bigger. Maybe a shot at Fundora, but Fundora got Keith Thurman problems. So a lot's going to be determined this year. And who knows, we may still get a Virgil Ortiz-Jaron Ennis fight at the end of after the end of it all plays out. But we really don't know. And knowing is half the battle. But like I said, to me, this was all set up from the beginning. Jaron Ennis really had no intention. And with Virgil's problems, it's going to be really tough to see this happening in the future. But let's hope Virgil gets his shit together. Kelly is the man standing in between them. Seeing as we don't know what Virgil is going to do. But maybe there's still hope for Ortiz and Ennis. But it'll have to be a lot of money. But I think it'll be a bigger fight. So let's go. Like, subscribe. Frank Bay, Lord Chilaquiles, boxing will never leave you.